So good morning everyone. It's very early in the morning, around 7 a.m. in the morning, and I just confirmed with the receptionist of my hotel that I will be going to George Square, and from there I will be riding the tour which I booked yesterday from the TripAdvisor for the one-day tour. And let's see, I will be riding here just to make sure this time I will be riding bus number 6 or 6A, which will be bringing me to the nearby the meetup point with the tour. So let's go ahead and find out. So right now I'm here in front of the George Square, and I'm waiting for my bus, and it's almost 7:45 a.m. in the morning, and bus will be, I think, tour guide will be arriving 8:30. He will be stopping here somewhere nearby here, and that's the time we will be going for the day tour. So this square is really nice. So I already figured out, and it's between Anne Frederick Street and John Street, and I can see from here the van is standing there. So that is the van I will be riding today for the day tour. So right now I'm waiting here for the van. That van was earlier, it is from the same tour but was a different company. A different same company but for different tour, 8 a.m. So my tour will be starting around 8:30, so I am already 30 minutes ahead of that time.
This area here, you see the dark brown line coming right across the country here. This is what is known as the Highland Fault Line. It's where two continents came together millions of years ago. This part of Scotland came from North America, way back at the beginning of time, and it crashed into the European plate, and it's created this piece of land. Now, the difference is the fault line comes right through here and then dramatically turns north up to this area here. Anything east and south is the lowlands and the east coast. Everything north of that line, all the way up, including the islands and the west coast, is the Highlands of Scotland. So you've got to be beyond the fault line to be classified as a Highlander. Unfortunately, the people of Aberdeen, they think they're Highlanders, but they're not. We keep them happy by telling them they are. We just call them plastic Highlanders because they're fakes. But as I say, that keeps them happy. But anyway, that's the main borderline. Now we're actually going to be covering most of the land around here, right on the edges of the southwest of the Highlands. Okay, so we're just going to be covering that area. Now, I don't know, do any of you guys know if you're connected to the Clan Campbell? Is the Carlson connected to the Clan Campbell?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we can soon find out. I've got a book there that tells you who you're connected to and who you're not connected to.
Cool.
So we can do that for you. So the reason I'm asking is because the Clan Campbell was one of the very few, there was only about 2 or 3 of them, of the clans of the north of Scotland that became loyal to the Crown of England way back in the 17th century. And because of his loyalty to the Crown, he became very powerful. And the Campbells, even to this day, in the far north of Scotland, are not liked nor trusted. They still, even today, won't trust them. We'll tell you some of the things that's happened in the past, and you'll begin to see why. Now, even at the time, there was a time period in the latter part of the 1700s, around about 1746 onwards, time period known as the Highland Clearances. A civil war came to an end up here in Inverness, where a group of people known as the Jacobites were finally defeated. They were trying to restore the Catholic House of Stuart back onto both the thrones of Scotland and England. So that eventually came to the end when the young Prince Charles Edward Stuart was defeated, better known as Bonnie Prince Charlie. He was eventually defeated, and that was it. The whole cause was gone. So at that time the British government realised that the biggest threat to the English crown was the people of the north, the Highlanders. So therefore what they did, they made a conscious decision. They passed legislation through the British Parliament to take away the rights of the people of the Highlands. They had no rights, they couldn't speak their language, they couldn't wear tartan. If you spoke the Gaelic language or wore tartan, you were executed where you stood. You were classified as a traitor to the crown, and soldiers had the right to kill you. And that was it. All they had to say to their officers was that that man was a Jacobite. That's fine. That's all they were interested in. Eradicate the Jacobite cause entirely. So the Highlands were cleared of people at around about 1745, 1746. There was over 5.4 million, well, in Scotland now there's 5.6 million people in the whole of the country. There'd been over 5.5 million people up in the Highlands alone back then, because we're all big clans, big families. But it's down to next to nothing now. There's only about 1 million people live in the Highlands altogether, and the Highlands and the Islands take up over 50% of the Scottish landscape, or the Scottish landmass. So at half the country there's a very small population of people. If you ever go to the far north, very, very few areas of population in the far north. So therefore it's a wide open space, a wide open place. It's a beautiful area to go and visit. But as I say, the people were cleared out, and a lot of people went to America, a lot of people went to Canada, South Africa, Australia, because these were the penal colonies that the British had at the time. So that's hence the reason a lot of people are connected from the likes of North America and Canada and places like that. A lot of people are connected to Scottish families here. So anyway, the Duke of Argyll, he went on to become extremely powerful. Now today we're going to be covering his lands. We're going to make our way out of Glasgow. We're going to make a little stop here at Loch Lomond to give you an opportunity to walk down to the banks of Loch Lomond and walk around that area there, because Loch Lomond is the largest loch we have in Scotland, and in Scotland the Scottish name for a lake is a loch. So any large body of water in Scotland is a loch, not a lake. We don't use the English words unless we have to. From there we'll make our way over to this area down here, around here, which is Inveraray. This will take us down to Inveraray, where we'll get an opportunity to drive up and see Inveraray Castle, because it's not open to the public at this time of the year. But Inveraray Castle, have you ever seen Downton Abbey? Well, when the family in Downton Abbey, when they come up to Scotland to their Highland getaway, it's Inveraray Castle they use for that. So we'll let you see the castle, let you get a couple of photographs. The Duke allows us to go and stop and get a couple of photographs. He's not bad that way. Now, the Inveraray Castle is the ancestral home of the Duke of Argyll, and the Duke of Argyll is the clan chieftain of Clan Campbell. You know, so he's not a popular guy, but he is a nice person in his own right, you know. But as I say, because he's connected to the Campbells, that's enough for a lot of people. But anyway, so once we're finished at Inveraray, it's a beautiful little village. We'll give you a wee bit of chance. We'll go up for a couple of photographs, and then we'll come back down into the village and let you go for a little walk around the village. We'll spend about half an hour there to let you have a little walk around, grab a coffee or something. Then from there we'll begin to make our way up and over towards the town of Oban itself. So once we get to Oban, you'll have at least we'll have over an hour, about an hour and a half or so for lunch. And depending when we get there, it may be a little bit more, but it will not be any less than an hour and a half. Because by the time you get something to eat and then have a little walk around the town, you'll need that hour and a half. Once we're finished in Oban, we'll then make our way further north up towards this area here, and then we'll make our way around an area which is called Glencoe. Very famous, simply because of an event between Clan Campbell and Clan MacDonald. And I'll tell you all about that when we get up there and we'll make our way around that area. And then from there we'll begin to make our way down this area called Rannochmoor, and then we'll make our way back down and into Glasgow. And then when we get back in here into Glasgow, we'll drop you guys off here in George Square, and you can continue to enjoy your rest of your time here in Glasgow. Again, as we make our way around, guys, any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If I don't know the answer, I'll just make it up. I'll tell you. Know any better. No, I carry reference books with me, so therefore if there is anything, maybe it's a place name or it's a person's name or just something like that, or you want to know, we can find out with the reference books, we can check them up, tell you where the name comes from, where it derives from, and how, you know, the meaning of it, or whatever, you know, the different things. So again, as I say, that's coming on to 1:30. It's nearly time to go anyway. So as I say, as we make our way around, guys, we'll just kind of stop. Is there anything you guys have came here in particular to see? Was there anything maybe you just wanted, because it's such a small group like this, if we can fit a couple of wee things in that you maybe wanted to try and see, we can try and do that. Now, when the bus is full, it's a wee bit more difficult when a lot of people maybe have things that they want to do. So if you think of anything as we go around, give us a shout, and then we'll see if we can sort it out, because a lot of people want to try and get a photograph of Highland cattle and things like that, because the hairy coo. You know, so a lot of people want to try and get that, but they wait till you're driving back into Glasgow and they'll go, do you know when we're going to get a chance to see a hairy coo? Well, certainly not in Glasgow. It's a bit late for that one now, but as I say, so if you think of anything, just let me know, and then we'll see if we can fit it in. Okay guys, so welcome to Glasgow.
Thank you.
So we'll continue on our way now, and then we'll get on and enjoy the rest of our day, hopefully.
Thank you.
We'll get on our way. It's for our students here in Glasgow. This is another building directly ahead of us, which is due for demolition. Again, because it's all part of the same college. A new Glasgow college has been built in other parts of the city. Now, we have a big student population in Glasgow, and we're quite proud of that, because a lot of people come here to get their education. Throughout the centuries, education has been a big thing involved in many of the inventions which kind of touch our lives throughout the day. There is a brilliant little poem which you can get. It's called An Ode to an Englishman, and it tells the story of an Englishman leaving his home in the morning and how the Scotsman's life affects him throughout the day. Everything he touches, a Scotsman's invented it, and it's a brilliant poem, but everything in it has been actually factually checked and it's all correct. It's where as he's making his way along the road, well, the surface of the road is tarmac, and that was created by a man called McAdam. So they shortened it as McAdam, so therefore they just call it tarmac now. The tyres on your wheels of your vehicles were invented by a man named Dunlop, another Scotsman. Again, it tells us when his wife goes into hospital when she's going to have his children, and how the Scotsman affects him there, because the Scots invented penicillin and different other medical advances. And then even at the end of the day, when he decides he's had enough and he tries to commit suicide, the battle.
So as I mentioned, we are on our first stop here, and the view is really amazing and fantastic here. So let me go around and show you here. It's really nice to be here. Very cold, and it's November here, and it's really feeling freezing here. The view is really amazing and incredible.